Hey, it's Kurt again. And as we wrap up this section of our WordPress Basics course for WP Tonic, the last thing I want to touch in this changing content is how to embed video. Video is an interesting subject in WordPress. And if you're new to WordPress, this part might seem a little confusing or counterintuitive. So I wanted to make sure that I talked about it just a wee little bit before I talk to you about how to embed that content. In the media library inside your website, you'll see that you can upload almost any kind of file to that media library. It could be a PDF, a Word document, PowerPoint, an audio file, or an MP4 or video file that you could upload. And some course creators make the mistake or don't know up front that it's really not advisable to upload video, especially large videos, to your media library. This could put a lot of stress on your server, your hosting, and your performance, or the viewing quality of the video might not be as good as what you're expecting. So when you're working in WordPress, it is highly advisable that you host your video somewhere else. YouTube is a great example. It's free. The Vimeo, Wistia, those are paid services that you can put your videos on, and they're secure. One reason that people like the Vimeo and the Wistia options is because it's secure and you can privatize it. Meaning, if you have content on your website that you only want paying people to see, you host them there and then you embed those videos into your website and then you can make a profit on that. If you host video on YouTube and you're actively monetizing that website, but have the content listed as unlisted or private on YouTube, that's against their terms and conditions, and that can come back later to bite you. One of the options that WP Tonic users are advised of going through WP Tonic is to think about using a source called bunny.net to host the videos and then tie that to one of our added tools that we give you with the hosting, which is called Presto Player. And Presto Player has a really unique integration that allows you to use the media bin in the back of your website to upload your videos. And so the process feels very simplified, like you're just putting the videos in the back of your site. But in reality, it's an integration that's really loading those videos to a third party hosting site called bunny.net. And it's super affordable and performs really well. So that might be a really good option for you to consider if you're new to putting video inside your websites. So now with that talked about and handled, let's do a quick screen share and take a look at what we want to do with our website moving forward. Let's go to the About page. And we haven't really looked at the About page yet. So let's take a look at that About page. And as that comes up, we'll scroll down and we'll say, okay, we want to add a video somewhere. So like here's a video right here that's been embedded, but let's add one of our own. So let's say that we want to edit this page, right? So when I click on edit page, it's going to open up in the edit screen, which we're familiar with now. And we'll see that we can scroll down in that page, almost like what you see is what you get. There's a few differences, but it's there. And you'll look at as we start to click around in here, we'll see that there are different containers that are highlighted. And in some cases, when we click around, we might see a plus box pop up. And those plus boxes are where you can add content right away. If I were to maybe control and minus this a little bit, maybe you would see more of that. Let me see if I can get one to pop up that looks right. Do really hoping I'd pull one up. Those little blue boxes that have the plus on them. Like for instance, if I click there, you see right here this little black box and blue box with the plus sign. Sometimes when you are um, inside your editing screen and you're in a new area, you'll see that little plus box pop up. If you want to be somewhere specific, notice how I'm on this container right now. If I click these three dots, I can say add before or add after. So if I want to put the video right above that, I can say add before. Now that gives me that space and there's that box. So if you don't see that plus box on your page, you can insert that plus box wherever you want it. So I'm going to click that. And if we say video, we'll see that we can look at different ways to add video to our screen. So video here is like, what if it was in your uh, media library, right? And then there's different versions to embed. So I'm going to pick YouTube, and I'm going to go to a YouTube video that was recently done with WP Tonic. I'm going to say share, and I'm going to click that URL. When I take that URL, I'm able to put it directly into the YouTube URL box, paste that in, and we'll click embed. And now you'll see it'll do a little thinking and it puts that video right there for us. Now, what if I didn't like the positioning? What if I really wanted the video up here above this? Well, every time we have one of these containers, we also have an up and down arrow. So when I click that arrow, I'm able to move that video up where I really want it to be. So now if we click update and then we do a preview of our screen, we're going to see our about us page, and we're going to see that we are able to upload that video directly right to the website. We're able to embed it right there. Now, let's say we wanted to make that look a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go and remove that video feature. Okay. So I got rid of that, and I'm going to go back and say, go back here, boom. And I'm going to say add before. So there's our little plus box again. And now what I want to do is I'm going to say custom HTML. Now, try not to get confused or burdened here, but I just want to show you. If we add the custom HTML and we go back to YouTube, see where it says embed here? We can copy this right here, and we can put that code directly in the custom HTML. This works with any kind of embed service that you have. So I'm going to paste that in, and I can preview it, and it comes up right there. And we can use our styling features to center that, move it. Oh, let me turn that off. Style it, move it, change it. And in fact, you'll see if I go to right here inside the code, and I might be getting a little too deep for a beginner's video, but see where it says width 568 and height 315. Well, what if I were to change this to 568 would be, or 560, that would be 1120, right? So if I were to change this to, not that. Okay. We already copied it. So let's go over here. Let's go to HTML, and let's say that we were to change this to 1120 and change this instead of 315 to 630. Well, then, folks, I think you've already got the point. That's going to make it twice as big as it was before. So the reason I like to show people this option for embedding the YouTube or any other video for that matter is that if you use the custom HTML, you're able to have more control over the size and positioning of the video as opposed to using the quick insert feature with just the URL. So that's two ways that you've got to embed that video directly into your page and use it for what you want to use it for. Now I'm going to show you one more thing with embedding the video. Bear with me here. What we're going to do here is we're going to add before again, and I put it up here this time. So now I'm going to click add, and what I'm going to put in here is columns. Okay. So if we look for columns, I'm going to say columns, and I just want to split the column in half. So now I've got a box over here and a box over here. So now this time I'm going to say custom HTML again, because that's what I have in my holder, right? So I'm going to say Control V, and that's our video right there. Okay. But remember, we still have that box over here. And over here is where I can add a heading. And I can say, isn't WP Tonic wonderful? Okay. And of course, there we go. And then I can go down. See, we have another plus sign here, right? When I hit enter, it opens up for another block. And here's where we put a paragraph in. And now we can say something like WP Tonic gives you the best deal on the best tools to build your own e-learning. Oh, I got that right. E-learning or membership website. And of course, my spell check is working here. So let's fix that. Okay. And then we can change this, right? So I can highlight that. I can come back over here. I can go to typography, dimensions. If we click here for typography and we go to appearance, we can add that. We can add line height. We can add letter spacing. Look at all the different options that we have and how finite we can go in what we've got. And so if we open this up again, I can say, well, I want it to be large, right? I want it to be medium. Maybe I want to change and put it in the center. So maybe I want to make that in the center, and then I want to make this in the center as well. So as you begin to design, you're able to play and move things around a bit, right? And so now we'll update that again. And now we'll take a look at it. And now we've been able to really customize the way that we've been able to present the video inside our website. And remember, don't get held up on where it's located, because if I wanted to change it, I could always highlight this whole section and I can move it down. We could update that again and we'll go take another look at it. You'll see now we have the About Us hero image at the top, and we go right into Isn't WP Tonic Wonderful? And then the content on the rest of the page. One more thing. Let's close this window again. We're back in here. And you saw how this hero image and this right here, it was really close. So what we want to do, and this is just kind of a design best practice, I'm going to add before. You see, we've got our little plus box right here. And what I want to add now is a spacer. So if I just type in spacer, we'll see that I can end. By the way, if I didn't know to call this spacer, remember, I can always click here and get a full menu, or I can click browse all and it'll give me a full menu of all the options that I can put in here. But because I know it's called spacer, I can add spacer right there. And I added 100 pixels of a spacer, and I can slide this to make it bigger or smaller, or I can change it by number. Okay. But now let's click update with adding the spacer. And this will just show you right away some of the design best practices we get when we add a little bit of white space. So instead of having this all crammed up under the hero image, we now have 100 pixels here. And if you remember, we did kind of change the view here a little bit. If I were to bring this back out, that's 80%, that's 90%, that's 100%. And so a lot of folks view their screens at different percentages of zoom. And so you're able, because this content is responsive, you are able to see what it would look like on different size screens. So you can kind of move that around a little bit. Okay. I think that takes care of embedding video, and we'll see you in the next section of our course.